Famous faces, dark secrets, the shocking truth behind Hollywood's glamour. Welcome to the world of Hollywood, a place where dreams are made and sometimes destroyed. For decades, we've admired the glitz, the stars, the perfectly polished images on magazine covers and screens. But what if we told you that behind the million-dollar smiles and blockbuster hits, there exists a hidden reality? In this video, we peel back the velvet curtain to expose the side of Hollywood they don't want you to see, the scandals, the cover-ups, the tragic stories, and the powerful forces working behind the scenes. From secret addictions and abusive contracts, to cults, conspiracies, and career-ending truths, this is the story of famous faces and their dark secrets. Are you ready to dive in? Hollywood, a name that echoes glamour, fame, and fortune. But behind the dazzling premieres and million-dollar smiles lies a world far removed from the silver screen fantasy. This isn't just about celebrity gossip or paparazzi scandals. No, this is deeper, darker, and far more disturbing. Because for every Oscar-winning performance, there's often a silent cry for help. For every red carpet moment, a story of manipulation, control, or betrayal. And for every rising star, there's a trail of broken dreams left behind. This is the side of Hollywood they don't want you to see. So, why are we telling this story? Because it's time to challenge the illusion. The purpose of this exposé isn't to shame celebrities or indulge in baseless rumors. It's to shed light on the truth, to uncover how the glittering surface of fame and fortune often conceals a much darker reality: exploitation, manipulation, and scandal. Behind closed doors, countless stars have suffered in silence, trapped by controlling contracts, toxic relationships, and pressure from powerful executives who treat people as products, not human beings. Others have been groomed, blacklisted, or silenced for daring to speak up. By exposing these hidden truths, we're not just pulling back the curtain. We're giving a voice to those who were never heard. We're revealing a system that for far too long has placed profit and image above human dignity. The illusion of glamour. Ah, Hollywood, the land of dreams, where every red carpet walk looks flawless, every award speech is moving, and every mansion seems like a piece of paradise. It's a world drenched in diamonds, designer gowns, and exclusive after-parties. The smiles, radiant; the bodies, sculpted; the lives, seemingly perfect. But look closer, and the cracks begin to show. Hollywood's public image. From the outside, it's a fantasy factory. We see the glitzy premieres, the flawless Instagram feeds, the million-dollar endorsements, celebrities arriving in limos, waving to fans, cloaked in luxury. Every moment, carefully captured, edited, and polished. Publicists, image consultants, and media teams work overtime to craft the perfect persona. Every detail is scripted, from what stars wear, to what they say, to who they're seen with. This is Hollywood's armor, a shimmering facade of perfection. But behind the curtain, the reality is far from glamorous. What the audience sees versus what's hidden. Behind every perfect smile, there could be a sleepless night. Behind every glowing headline, a breakdown quietly managed off-camera. Behind every role, a story of exploitation, anxiety, or silent suffering. The audience sees fame, but they rarely see the price of it. Actors are told to smile through personal tragedies, to pose for magazines while battling depression, to perform even when the spotlight is the last place they want to be. Some stars become trapped in roles, not just on screen but in life, forced to act a part that pleases the public but betrays their truth. And if they break the illusion, they're branded difficult, unstable, or washed up. The pressure to maintain perfection. Perfection isn't just expected, it's demanded. Celebrities live under a constant microscope. A single bad photo can spark rumors. A candid moment can destroy careers. Gaining a few pounds? Suddenly you're letting yourself go. Speaking out about injustice? You're ruining your brand. Hollywood doesn't just sell stories, it sells idealized human beings. To keep up, many turn to extreme diets, cosmetic surgery, or substances to cope with the relentless pressure. Others hide their true identities, their sexuality, beliefs, or trauma, just to stay employable in an industry obsessed with image. And still, the public cheers, unaware of what it takes to keep the mask in place. This illusion isn't harmless. It can destroy. Because when perfection becomes a prison, the fall from grace can be devastating. Up next, we go deeper into the machinery behind the fame. The puppet masters who really controls Hollywood. Exploitation behind the scenes. For decades, Hollywood has marketed itself as the pinnacle of artistic achievement, But behind the blockbusters and billion-dollar deals lies a far more sinister reality, one built on silence, fear, and unchecked power. This is the side of the industry most never see, but many have suffered through. Casting couch scandals. The phrase casting couch has been whispered in Hollywood for generations, a dark euphemism for a horrifying truth: the exchange of sexual favors for career opportunities. It was once treated as an open secret, a price of admission. But it wasn't until brave victims began speaking out that the world was forced to face the truth. In 2017, a tidal wave of allegations brought one of Hollywood's most powerful men, Harvey Weinstein, to his knees. Over 80 women, including some of the industry's most respected actresses, accused him of sexual assault, harassment, and rape. His fall sparked the global #MeToo movement, but Weinstein was far from the only predator. For years, actors, especially women, were pressured into silence, fearing they'd lose roles, be blacklisted, or worse. And the enablers? Managers, studios, and agents who looked the other way to protect their own careers, or their bottom line. This wasn't just exploitation, it was systemic abuse, wrapped in a culture of power and fear. Power imbalances, the gatekeepers of dreams. In Hollywood, power is everything, and it rarely belongs to the performers. Producers, agents, directors, casting executives. These gatekeepers hold the keys to success, and in the wrong hands, that power can become a weapon. Aspiring actors are often young, desperate, and willing to do anything for a break. That desperation is exactly what some have preyed on, offering roles in exchange for favors, manipulating contracts to trap stars in toxic work environments, or emotionally coercing them to obey behind closed doors. Even those at the top aren't always safe. Several high-profile stars have spoken about how they were manipulated early in their careers, blackmailed into silence, or forced into compromising positions by those they once trusted. Underage abuse, the industry's deepest wound. Perhaps the most heartbreaking element of Hollywood's dark side is the exploitation of child actors. From the outside, they're adored, the precocious stars of family films and sitcoms. But behind the scenes, many are left vulnerable to predators disguised as mentors, managers, or producers. Former child actors like Corey Feldman and Elijah Wood have spoken out about the rampant abuse in the industry, describing a hidden ring of powerful individuals who groomed and harmed children, while studios turned a blind eye. These young stars were often gaslit, isolated from their families, and robbed of their innocence, all while continuing to entertain millions on screen. And when they tried to speak up, they were ignored, threatened, or labeled as troubled and ungrateful. No child should ever be sacrificed for entertainment. No dream should ever come at this cost. But not everyone stayed silent. In the next section, we'll reveal the breaking points, the brave voices that shook the industry, and the price they paid. Breaking the silence, whistleblowers, survivors, and the high cost of truth. Mental health and substance abuse. Fame, fortune. The red carpet's endless flash of cameras. But beneath that dazzling surface lies a shadow many stars fight every day, a hidden battle with mental health and addiction. The dark side of fame. The constant glare of the spotlight is not just blinding, it can be crushing. Depression, anxiety, and overwhelming pressure are the silent epidemics in Hollywood. The very fame millions crave can become a prison of isolation. Every word, every action is scrutinized, magnified by social media and tabloids hungry for scandal. Celebrities often struggle with the loss of privacy, impossible public expectations, and the fear of fading into obscurity. This relentless scrutiny leaves many feeling trapped, misunderstood, and alone. Addiction in the industry. For some, the pressure becomes unbearable. To cope with stress, pain, or the emotional weight of their lives, many turn to drugs or alcohol. Substance abuse has become a tragic hallmark of the entertainment world. From prescription painkillers to illicit drugs, the line between relief and addiction blurs quickly. Overwork, insomnia, and anxiety create a vicious cycle that's hard to break. Hollywood has lost too many to this struggle, a constant reminder that behind the glam, the pain is real. Lost stars. Some of the brightest stars burned out too soon. Heath Ledger, beloved for his intense performances, battled insomnia and depression. His death in 2008 from an accidental overdose shook the world. Amy Winehouse, with her soulful voice and troubled life, fought addiction and heartbreak until her untimely death in 2011. They are just two among many, talented, vibrant individuals whose lives were cut short by the varied pressures their success created. Their stories are warnings, but also calls for compassion and change. Fame is not a cure, and behind every smile is a story many will never see. In our next chapter, we explore the fight for change, the survivors, the advocates, and the growing movement to bring Hollywood's darkest truths into the light. Cult-like control and secret societies. Hollywood is a world built on illusion, but some say the illusion runs far deeper than the cameras ever show. Behind the scenes, whispers speak of something darker: secret societies, cult-like control, and hidden powers that manipulate the lives and careers of stars. Conspiracies or truth? Are these just wild theories, or something more real and more sinister? For decades, rumors have swirled about exclusive shadowy groups, wielding influence over who rises and who falls in the industry. Stories of actors being groomed, controlled, and exploited by unseen forces have sparked curiosity and fear. Some stars hint at being trapped in systems where personal freedom is traded for fame and success. Others describe feeling like puppets, their every move monitored, their careers dictated by those pulling strings behind closed doors. While concrete proof is elusive, the patterns of control and silence raise questions few dare to ask. NDAs and silence. Hollywood's silence isn't just cultural, it's legal. Non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, have become powerful tools for studios and executives to keep scandals under wraps. Victims and insiders who try to speak out often face crippling lawsuits, financial ruin, or career sabotage. These contracts create a cage of secrecy, making it nearly impossible to expose wrongdoing without risking everything. Behind closed doors, truth is often the biggest threat, and silence the highest currency. High-profile whistleblowers. Yet, despite the risks, some brave voices have broken through the silence. Actresses like Ashley Judd, Rose McGowan, and Mila Kunis have publicly called out abuse and manipulation, shining a spotlight on the toxic systems in place. Their courage helped fuel movements like #MeToo and Time's Up, exposing powerful figures and demanding accountability. Other stars have revealed their experiences with controlling agents and toxic contracts, warning newcomers about the dangers lurking beneath the glamour. These whistleblowers risked everything: their careers, privacy, and mental health, to speak truth to power. It's a battle of shadows and light, but the tide is turning. Change is coming, fueled by those who refuse to be silenced. Next, we'll explore the growing movement for reform and what the future might hold for Hollywood's next generation. Toxic culture and cancel culture. Hollywood's darkest truths aren't just about individual actions. They're embedded in a culture that's long protected the powerful and silenced the vulnerable. Protecting the powerful. For decades, major studios and industry giants prioritized reputation over justice. Abusers were often shielded, not exposed. Careers were preserved at the expense of victims' voices. Whispers of hush money, secret settlements, and cover-ups are not rare. They are part of the industry's fabric. The fear that shining stars might fall, money might dry up, and the carefully constructed image of Hollywood would crumble. Victim blaming and silencing. Those who dared to speak out faced a brutal backlash. Victims were accused of seeking attention, lying, or damaging innocent careers. They risked professional blacklisting, public shaming, and personal attacks. This culture of victim blaming made coming forward a painful, isolating ordeal, a test of courage many simply couldn't pass alone. The rise of cancel culture. But a new force has emerged. Cancel culture, the public's demand for accountability, has upended the old rules. Stars, producers, and executives accused of misconduct are no longer untouchable. Social media and #MeToo empowered fans and insiders to demand consequences, exposing abuses once buried deep. Hollywood is being forced to confront its past, often clumsily, sometimes painfully, but undeniably with more transparency. Yet, cancel culture is complex. Critics argue it can lead to rushed judgments and unfair consequences, raising questions about due process and redemption. The Hollywood's toxic culture is under siege. But the fight for true reform is far from over. Change requires more than canceling names. It demands rebuilding systems, fostering respect, and listening to those who have been silenced. In the final chapter, we'll look ahead at the future of Hollywood, lessons learned, and the possibility of a new era. If this exposé opened your eyes to Hollywood's hidden truths, share this story, because awareness is the first step toward change. Remember, Behind every shining star is a human being deserving of respect, safety, and dignity. Together we can help rewrite the story of fame, one that celebrates talent without sacrificing integrity. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more eye-opening stories. Until next time, keep looking beyond the spotlight. This culture of victim blaming made coming forward a painful, isolating ordeal, a test of courage many simply couldn't pass alone. The rise of cancel culture. But a new force has emerged. Cancel culture, the public's demand for accountability, has upended the old rules. Stars, producers, and executives accused of misconduct are no longer untouchable. Social media and #MeToo empowered fans and insiders to demand consequences, exposing abuses once buried deep. Hollywood is being forced to confront its past, often clumsily, sometimes painfully, but undeniably with more transparency. Yet, cancel culture is complex. Critics argue it can lead to rushed judgments and unfair consequences, raising questions about due process and redemption. Bollywood's toxic culture is under siege. But the fight for true reform is far from over. Change requires more than canceling names. It demands rebuilding systems, fostering respect, and listening to those who have been silenced. But in the final chapter, we'll look ahead at the future of Hollywood, lessons learned, and the possibility of a new era. If this exposé opened your eyes to Hollywood's hidden truths, share this story, because awareness is the first step toward change. Remember, behind every shining star is a human being deserving of respect, safety, and dignity. Together we can help rewrite the story of fame, one that celebrates talent without sacrificing integrity. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more eye-opening stories. Until next time, keep looking beyond the spotlight.